Some scary stories start with screams. These didn't. They began with ordinary moments and ended when it was already too late to feel safe. These are 3 true stories. I lived next door to that family for a little over 3 years. They were quiet, polite, and easy to overlook. We spoke occasionally over the fence or near the mailbox. Nothing personal, nothing unusual. One evening, Claire came over and asked if I had noticed anyone around their house at night. I told her I hadn't. She explained that food had been going missing. At first, it was easy to dismiss. Snacks disappearing faster than expected, leftovers not lasting as long as they should. They assumed the kids were sneaking food. Her husband suggested animals. No one was concerned yet. Then sealed items started disappearing. Drinks were empty by morning, and no one remembered opening them. Not long after that, small things around the house felt slightly out of place. A chair pulled back from the table. A cabinet left open. Nothing dramatic. Just enough to make Claire stop and think. She told me it felt like someone was moving carefully, trying not to be noticed. That's when they decided to install a camera. It wasn't a full security system. Just a small indoor camera in the kitchen, angled toward the hallway. They expected it to confirm something ordinary. For the first 2 nights, nothing happened. On the 3rd night, just after 2:40 in the morning, there was movement near the ceiling. At first, it looked like the vent cover shifting slightly. Then it lowered. Slowly, a hand appeared. Then, another. A young girl eased herself down from the opening, careful not to make noise. She was barefoot. Her hair was loosely tied back. She wore an oversized hoodie that looked too thin for the season. She didn't pause or scan the room. She walked straight to the refrigerator, as if she already knew where everything was. She ate quietly while standing there, then drank from the sink. She opened a cabinet and took a box of crackers. Before leaving, she fixed the chair she had used and wiped the counter where she'd leaned. Then she climbed back into the vent and replaced the cover from the inside. The entire visit lasted only a few minutes. Claire told me later that watching the footage felt unreal. Not because of what they saw, but because of how routine it all looked. They contacted the police that morning. An inspection revealed a crawl space connected through the ventilation system. The house was older. Parts of it hadn't been properly sealed. Inside the crawl space, they found blankets, food wrappers, and empty bottles. The girl was found later that night. She was 17, a runaway who had been moving between houses for months. According to the police, she paid close attention to routines. She chose homes where people went to bed early and didn't lock doors inside the house. No one had been physically harmed. That was how the situation was explained. But later, Claire told me something she hadn't shared with the police. She said the kids had complained for weeks about hearing breathing at night. They thought it was the dog. Once, her youngest said he saw someone standing in the hallway. Claire told him it was just a bad dream. The family moved out not long after. The new owners renovated the house. The vents were sealed. The ceilings were replaced. From the outside, it looks no different than any other home on the street. Sometimes I think about how easily the situation blended into their daily lives. How many small signs were dismissed because none of them felt urgent on their own. And how close someone can be, night after night, without being noticed at all. If the camera hadn't been installed, I don't know how long it would have continued. And I don't know what would have finally made the family stop explaining things away. I never liked that apartment. Not in a dramatic way. Nothing that made me want to run out the door. It just never felt right. My boyfriend and I were looking for a place fast. Rent was high, our lease was ending, and this apartment was cheap. Too cheap, but it was clean enough. Quiet street. Old building. The smell was the first thing I noticed. Not strong, just heavy. Like the air hadn't moved in years. The furniture was old. Not antique, just worn. Scratches in places that didn't make sense. A table that didn't stand evenly. A couch that felt like it remembered too many people. The landlord said it had been his parents' apartment. He didn't explain further. We told ourselves it didn't matter. It was just a place to sleep. At night, I started waking up for no reason. No noise. No nightmares. Just alert. Like my body noticed something my mind refused to name. The kitchen always felt colder, especially near the sink. A few weeks later, we adopted a cat. He was calm at first, quiet. Then he started sitting in the kitchen for long periods of time, staring at one exact spot. Not at the window, not at us. Sometimes his fur slowly rose along his back. No hissing, no sound. I told myself cats are strange. Then I started hearing plates move at night. Not breaking, not falling, just shifting. As if someone was carefully rearranging them. I'd freeze and listen. And then, nothing. My boyfriend said it was the pipes. Old building. Thin walls. I wanted to believe that. One weekend, my friend visited with her child. They stayed in our bedroom. That room had mirrors everywhere. Closet doors. A vanity. 2 mirrors facing each other. That night, nobody slept. The child cried, then laughed, then cried again. My friend said it felt like someone was standing too close. Later, I passed the hallway mirror, and for a moment, my reflection didn't move when I did. The next day, I asked the landlord. He hesitated. Then he told me his parents had died there. Both of them, years apart. They never left the apartment. That's when everything made sense. The smell, the kitchen, the cat. We didn't leave immediately. We tried to be rational, but I stopped feeling safe. I avoided the kitchen at night, covered the mirrors, and sometimes, half asleep, I thought I heard breathing behind me. Not loud, just patient. We moved out a month later. Nothing followed us. Nothing dramatic happened, but I still remember how that apartment felt. Like we were temporary. And something else. Never really left. I didn't notice the first gift right away. It was a small box left outside my apartment door. No note, no name, just my address written neatly, like it had been copied from a form. At first, I assumed it was a delivery mistake. That happens in apartment buildings. I left it in the hallway for a day. No one came for it. So eventually, I brought it inside. Inside the box was a paperback book. Not new, slightly worn. The kind you'd find in a used bookstore. There was nothing written inside it. No message. No highlighted lines. Just a book. I didn't think much of it. I put it on a shelf and forgot about it. A week later, there was another box. Same size. Same handwriting. This time, it was a scarf. Gray. Soft. Clean. Folded carefully, like it mattered how it looked when I opened it. I remember thinking it was oddly considerate. Still no note. I asked my friends if any of them were messing with me. Everyone said no. They joked about a secret admirer. I laughed along, even though something about it didn't feel romantic. It felt quiet. Too quiet. The third gift arrived on a Sunday morning. I know that because I was home all day, and I never heard anyone knock. When I opened my door that evening, the box was already there. Inside was a framed photograph. It took me a second to realize what I was looking at. It was my living room. Not a wide shot, not artistic, just a straightforward photo, taken from the corner near the window. You could see my couch, my coffee table, the lamp I always forget to turn off. The photo wasn't taken through the window. The angle was wrong. Someone had been inside my apartment. I checked the locks. Nothing was broken. Nothing was missing. I convinced myself it had to be a prank. Maybe someone from the building had a spare key. Maybe maintenance. I didn't call the police. I wish I had. The next gift came 3 days later. No box this time. Just an envelope slid under my door. Inside was a key. Not labeled. No explanation. But I recognized it immediately. It was the spare key I kept hidden in my car. The one I lost months ago. My hands started shaking. That night, I didn't sleep. I sat on my bed with the lights on, listening to every sound in the building. Every footstep in the hallway felt closer than it should have. The next morning, I found another envelope. This one had a note. Just one sentence. You should really close the blinds at night. I stopped bringing the gifts inside after that. I left them in the hallway. I stopped opening them. I started staying at friends' places. I told myself I was overreacting. Until the voicemail. I missed the call while I was at work. No number showed up. The voicemail was only 10 seconds long. It was my voice. Not a recording from social media. Not something clipped from a video. It was me, talking on the phone, complaining about my job, a conversation I had in my apartment. I listened to it 3 times before deleting it. That night, I packed a bag. I didn't go home. The final gift arrived a week later. I was staying with my sister. She found it on her porch. Same handwriting. My name. Inside was a small cardboard box. Inside that box was a USB drive. Against my better judgment, I plugged it into my laptop. There was one video file. The video was taken from inside my bedroom. The camera angle was low, like it had been placed on the floor. I was asleep in the bed. The timestamp showed it had been recorded 2 nights earlier. I never watched it all the way through. I moved the next day. Different building, different part of the city, new locks, new routine. I didn't tell anyone where I was going. For a while, nothing happened. No boxes, no envelopes, no messages. I started to relax. Until last night. I came home late and found something waiting for me. No box, no note, just a single Polaroid photo taped to my door. It shows the outside of my new apartment, taken from across the street, and written on the back in the same neat handwriting. Home is where you feel safest. I haven't gone inside yet. I'm sitting in my car recording this, because if another gift shows up, I want someone to know I never asked for any of this. And I don't think it's over. The scariest part isn't what happened. It's how long it took before anyone realized something was wrong. If these stories stayed with you, there are more waiting here. Subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.